I will be the first one to tell you that Russia's intelligence gathering apparatus is second to none, and their ability to infiltrate other countries to get intelligence is excellent. But sometimes, well, the United States, we just make it too easy for people. According to the DOJ, a U.S. Army lieutenant colonel got busted passing classified information about the U.S.'s strategy assisting Ukraine in their conflict over a dating site. I swear to God, over a dating site. Let's get into it. And we're going to talk about, well, just how stupid sometimes people can be. Okay. This is coming to us from here's the overarching story. This is from the U.S. DOJ, Air Force employee indicted for unlawful disclosure of classified national defense information. But important, this is in his current state. He was a 62-year-old civilian employee of the U.S. Air Force assigned to U.S. Strategic Command. For you got those that don't know, U.S. STRATCOM is responsible for the entire U.S. strategic arsenal. This is the missile and bomber fleets that operate as the United States nuclear deterrent. So this is the highest of the high in terms of sensitive national security information. And this individual, David Franklin Slater, 63 of Nebraska, was working within a classified space inside STRATCOM, had a TS clearance, at least from August 2021 until April 2022, following his retirement from the United States Army as a lieutenant colonel. Now, here's the crazy part. They said, as alleged, Mr. Slater, an Air Force civilian employee, knowingly transmitted classified information to another person, in blatant disregard for the security of his own country and his oath of office. Now, here's where things get even crazier, right? When we dig into it, who exactly did he pass this to? And what exactly is he in for? Well, for that, we can look over to the Kiev Post for a little bit deeper summary. And then we're going to get into the actual indictment, and that is where things get even crazier. This is a lieutenant colonel, right, who allegedly passed this secret intelligence on to, no kidding, a person or people on a dating website dedicated to finding foreign women. This is a co-conspirator who claimed to be a female living in Ukraine on a foreign dating website. Now, here's the thing, guys. When I applied for a TS clearance, I had to disclose every friend I had who was not a U.S. national, right? I got drinks with my buddy, my Irish friend, I had to report it. If I had traveled overseas for any reason, in fact, purchased a ticket to travel overseas for any reason, I had to disclose it. So your foreign contacts have to be totally disclosed to the government before you get any kind of TS clearance. So right there, signing up for a foreign dating site should have been your first hint. And remember, this is a 63-year-old Army lieutenant colonel, someone who probably has about 40 years of time in the national security space. So place that in context, right? This is like some basic stuff. And when you see the actual text of their conversations, you're going to see just how completely, insanely stupid this dude was. And yet, despite being a complete buffoon, he still somehow not only rose to the level of lieutenant colonel in the Army, which even in the GWAT era, right, promotions were pretty easy. The U.S. Army was desperate for officers, and especially senior officers. But still, you'd think having this poor a judgment would have screened you out. And then, of course, getting a job at STRATCOM, guys. STRATCOM, I can't emphasize this enough. There isn't a higher level of U.S. nuclear deterrence command. If you're higher than that, you can literally launch the nukes yourself. Okay, so this is just absolutely eye-popping. And guys, if you're interested, of course, in supporting the channel, enabling me to continue to do this, and also getting uncensored combat footage, no nuclear strikes, thankfully, but GoPro footage from Ukraine, that POV combat stuff that I can't show you on YouTube because YouTube demonetizes everything, check us out at combatvetnews.com. STRATCOM. You can become a member. Any one of these tiers will get you access to the twice weekly combat video breakdowns. And of course, we're dropping one today, so definitely become a member. Again, check us out, combatvetnews.com. So here's the thing. Let's look at the actual indictment. It gets weirder. It gets crazier. Okay. Lieutenant Colonel Slater starts dating this woman on a foreign dating website, who decides they are definitely in love, that a 63-year-old Army Lieutenant Colonel has Ukrainian women just clamoring for him. And this individual, this guy, he starts to talk to his girlfriend. And, it's important when you're in a romantic relationship to, develop a high level of trust with your partner. And certainly, we all have different ways. My wife and I like to gossip about reality TV. But in this woman's case, she wanted to gossip instead about other such flirty topics, including one message where she asks, quote, American intelligence says that already 100% of Russian troops are located on the territory of Ukraine. Do you think this information can be trusted? End quote. Just fun, flirty banter. And another one, this is all in March, by the way, March 2022. So like early invasion. She asks, Dear, what is shown on the screens in the special room? It's very interesting. Just fun banter. Just sets your heart aflutter when your paramour from Ukraine is just desperate to know, oh, what do they show on the screens at STRATCOM? Like, it's very interesting. What? You're some Ukrainian woman. Right? I don't ask my wife like what they show on the screens of the hospital because I wouldn't understand it if they did. Right? Oh, March 15th, she says, quote, by the way, you were the first to tell me that NATO members are traveling by train, and only now, already evening. This was announced on our news. You are my secret informant, love. How were your meetings? Successfully? Guys, when your girlfriend literally refers to you as a secret informant, that's a sign that you need to leave. That's a sign that you need to get out. I don't know what else to tell you. And here you go, March 18th, 3 days later. No, by the way, Dave, no red flags to any of this. Oh my God, there's like 2 pages of this. March 18th, right? Again, Dave, not suspicious at all. Happy to just share his day with his waifu, right? She says, quote, beloved Dave, do NATO and Biden have a secret plan to help us? Remember, she told him that she was Ukrainian. Wow. Do you have any secret classified plans to help? Or March 23rd, quote, Dave, it's great that you get information about specified country 1. First, probably Russia. I hope you will tell me right away. You are my secret agent with love. Guys, if your Ukrainian internet girlfriend literally tells you that you are behaving in a way identical to that of a double agent, you should leave. I'm supposed to react to things or have commentary. Listen, Russia has a very good intelligence gathering apparatus, but sometimes it doesn't have to be that good. And actually what they probably did here, for every one Dave, like they got a Dave, there were probably, I would guess and say about 1,000 military affiliated people in various sensitive roles in national security that this Russian, it's almost certainly a Russian operation, reached out to and got shot down, right? So even if you have 999 out of 1,000 people who say, secret agent, get out of here, or you want to know what's in STRATCOM, I can't tell you anything. And don't get me wrong, in my life, I've been approached by people, foreign nationals, who have asked me questions about my job, about work, that there's no reason it would be of interest to them. I literally once had a Chinese national walk up to me and be like, Paul, what do you think is the U.S. Army's greatest weakness? And I'm like, bro, we've had maybe 15 minutes of conversations. I'm not going to tell you that. And like, to his credit, he just ignored me, right? I sort of, but it was just absolutely the dumbest. It must work. They wouldn't do it. Intelligence operatives wouldn't do it if it didn't work. Or April 12th. There's so much more. There's some real juicy ones. She goes, quote, "Sweet Dave." Also, come on, man. Sweet Dave. That's what you got? That's your nickname? Really? You can't get a little creative? You're the entire Russian government. Sweet Dave. Right? The supply of weapons is completely classified. Comma. Which is great. Oh, okay. Cool. For April 14th. My sweet Dave. Oh, using the possessive. Thanks for the valuable information. It's great. 2 officials from USA are going to Kiev. Again, most of the time, if you're going to betray your country, you don't get a receipt. Like, you don't get a back brief. You shouldn't have them be like, "Thank you for providing us this valuable intelligence. To reiterate, 2 officials from USA are going to Kiev." Fucking unreal, dude. Unreal. Or on April 19th, quote, "Dave, I hope tomorrow NATO will prepare a very unpleasant surprise for Putin. Will you tell me about it?" And then she says, quote, "Ape, you have a job in the operations center today. This is the heart of STRATCOM. I remember. I'm sure there is a lot of interesting news there." And of course, the DOJ says, in response to these requests, Colonel Slater indeed provided classified national defense intelligence to co-conspirator 1. For example, he transmitted classified NDI regarding military targets in Russia's war against Ukraine on or about April 13th. He transmitted NDI regarding Russian military capabilities relating to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And they've redacted a bunch of stuff from this indictment. But listen, here's the thing, guys. It only takes one dummy to just ruin it for everybody. And again, never underestimate the ability of people to be stupid. Now, one thing I will say, sometimes, in his defense, sometimes when you get older, cognition starts to decline. Right? Especially if you have early, it's not even early onset. 63 is the normal age, a very normal age to develop dementia, perhaps a little on the young side. So this ability to make subtle judgments, to check your impulses, can become limited. And it's one of the things, actually, that's one of the reasons, one of the many criticisms of having very old people in Congress and in the White House is that you can often see in the old people's behavior that they lose the ability to sort of organize their thoughts or keep track of things, or in some cases, not become impulsive. And that should worry you on a bunch of levels. It should worry you first off because, frankly, if you're 63, you shouldn't be allowed near STRATCOM. I don't know what else to tell you. They should tell you when you're 59. They should be like, "Listen, dude, it's not that you can't work. You just can't work in the hard beating heart of the U.S. deterrence arsenal." Okay, nobody likes to hear it. Nobody wants to admit it. But I'm not saying every 65-year-old is cognitively declining, but enough are that there should be some protocols to make sure we're matching job to cognitive ability. Just like we wouldn't let a 16-year-old run STRATCOM because no matter how smart they are, they're probably not cognitively mature enough that we probably should have the same rules for 65-year-olds. So it's possible this man was in the early stages of dementia and was much more easily deceived, right? But honestly, and for real, what the actual fuck? I don't know what else to tell you. Anyway, guys, that's all I had for you. Thank you so much to everybody, especially the members of CombatVetNews.com, our Colonel tier members, our Lieutenant tier members. Notice Colonel tier members, right? We jumped that Lieutenant Colonel tier because that's the dummy collection point. That is, you guys are above that. We're all above that. Anyway, hit like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Cheers.